Ladies and gentlemen, bienvenidos a mi sala. Welcome to my living room. I'm back, and it's been quite a while for many reasons. I'm going through a lot. I've been absent, not doing much videos, but I see the love and I see the thoughtful kindness in the community of the people sending me messages, asking me when will I do another one of these. When will I have the time to come back and do more videos? And it's been very heartwarming, heartfelt, and I appreciate all the love and kindness that the community has reached out to me. At least a few that follow me. They're real and pure, and that's what counts. I have another segment today on my channel. It's episode 6 of Xbotian's Let's Talk podchat, where we connect one-on-one with fellow YouTubers, big and small, but mainly small, that are not as well known and that don't get the respect and the recognition they deserve, so that people could get to know them on a more personal and respectful level. Other options out there other than just the big sharks or the big fish in the sea, so to speak. So today, I'm really honored and I'm extremely proud with my next guest. I ran into him very early in the game when I first started on YouTube. I literally, within my first 2 videos, I met him through a Xbox live chat. I've seen him or his name rather pop up here and there in certain forums and in Twitter talking and stuff. I didn't really even follow him at the time, but I just was aware of his voice because he was very surprised. This YouTuber basically defines the very epitome of what I've said in many other episodes and time again, of the whole reason why I say that video games as a medium in our society and in pop culture is the most unique and the most unorthodox type of medium that there is, because it brings flavors of all size, all shapes, all ages, all nationalities. Like I've said many times before, the controller is not prejudice. It holds no prejudice. It's hard because I definitely feel and not because he's become my friend throughout the last year, I would say, that I've been on YouTube and on Xbox. He's not just like a friend to me. He's very special. He means a lot to me. I love him very much because he's a kind soul, and his uniqueness of what we'll get to in a point is one of the reasons why I have a lot more connection to him, because it's like he can be something to me, which you'll understand once we introduce him. And something that is not something that you don't see on a daily basis, because his wealth of knowledge, his wealth of his spirit for video games, it's really not like none other that you see of a person of his kind, of stature and his position. To be honest with you, he's more intelligent and intellectual in the gaming world than a lot of YouTubers out here that are big and well known. And that's not just me saying it for the fact that he's a guest and my friend, but it's something that I've seen through many different outlets, as far as conversations and having hangouts and what he's put on certain Twitter posts and forums of games. I mean, anybody that would speak to him would be shell shocked, or will sit on their feet from their feet, will sit down and be like, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." It's almost like a blinded right hook. So if I had to describe him in the video game lingo, it would be he's just catch you off surprise or by surprise with no type of marketing and no type of push, and the whole community doesn't expect anything from it. When they play it, they're like, holy crap, this game really swept me off my feet. Something like Wolfenstein that comes to mind from this generation. He's sort of like that if I had to describe him. But anyway, I don't want to sound like I'm ranting. I want you guys to be as kind as possible. I want you to be as genuine as possible. This channel is for real gamers with respect and love for gaming, and don't criticize or critique people by based off their gender, color, or race or age or anything of that nature. I want you guys to show him the love and respect he deserves. I feel that he is a very underrated and very underappreciated YouTuber to begin with, and I think it's because of who he is. And you'll understand that again as after I introduce him, because of the fact that people don't like to see things from the other side of the pond, if you will, because they think it might not be possible. So, sit back, relax, enjoy, and I hope that with this interview or this pod chat, if you will, that I'm going to do here today with him, people will see who he is the way I see him, how special he really is, and how kind he really is, and how worthy he is, and to be part of YouTube. Because I know lately he hasn't really had the enthusiasm, if you will, to do a lot of YouTubing or YouTube, content. And I don't blame him, but he could explain that as we go along. So without further ado, like I said, be respectful. I would like to introduce you, my friend, and I can definitely say I feel for him almost like if he was my son, Jay Long, 908. Jay, how are you?
Man, I'm glad to be here, man. That was a hell of an introduction right there, bro.
Hey, listen, like I've said to you many times, I try to introduce everyone with the love, the respect, and the genuine feel that I feel for them. And every word I said is from the heart, because you were, like I said, Jay Long, if many people don't know, was the only and first person on this community to try to give me, try to give me exposure. He tried to give me recognition so people to know that I was in here, that I was new, and that I was worth the time because I was knowledgeable, or that I was real, that it came from the heart. And he reached out to me and did a wonderful, wonderful interview on his channel with me and my boy and our friend, Master Chief. And it was incredible. It was a lot of fun time. It was so good that it lasted almost 5 hours. And maybe that's why people got scared. But if you actually sit down and watch it, you will enjoy it, because it was a great, great segment where we sat down, talked gaming, and we learned a lot from each other. He learned a lot from us. He asked us a lot of great questions, and you can tell that he cared about what he wanted to do as far as exposing who I was, and even Master Chief. But that's a different story. I'm speaking for myself, obviously. So Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with me today in my new segment of my channel that I've been doing. You are the guest. You are the guest of honor, and I hope that I do you justice. I hope that I bring a new light on you, on your channel, and who you are. And for those who don't know, the reason why I was saying the things that I was saying about Jay is because Jay is not like everybody else would expect to be when I'm speaking in one of these pod chats, because Jay is very young in age compared to me. Is he a baby? Absolutely not. But for his age, there's not many kids of his age that has the wealth of knowledge, the wealth of respect, and the wealth of spiritual love that he has for gaming. He is truly a real, genuine gamer, quote unquote, 100%. He loves gaming, and he knows his stuff. It's not because he's trying to be fake or trying to post, be phony. He really loves gaming, and I hope that you get to see that same side that I learned meticulously throughout the past year. Through all the conversations and time that we spend with him, and that I've spent with him. He's a great pleasure. He's a wonderful kid. He's a wonderful person to listen to, because he speaks from the heart, and that's what gaming is all about, and what real gamers should be all about. Again, Jay, thank you for being here. How's everything? Everything's okay?
Yeah, everything's been good, man. I'm really excited to see what we talk about on the show.
Nice, nice. I hope you're not nervous, or if you are, just sit down on my digital couch Have some Kool-Aid. You can't have a beer because you're of age still, I think.
Yeah,
But
next year, next
you can
year.
have some Kool-Aid or whatever you want,
Yeah,
and enjoy, man. So Jay, I want to get right into this because I want to people to get to know you a little bit better. You are obviously younger of age. You started gaming. I really don't know what age. So if you can be so kind and basically give us a little rundown of how did you get introduced to video games? Um, how did you know at your age that it was something that you enjoyed very much? That it was going to be a life hobby that would stay with you for the rest of your life, perhaps? And and how did you take that approach of wanting to get to know gaming so well, like even as far as the history, which a lot of kids don't really pay attention, and especially in a day and age where most kids now just like mobile gaming or tablet gaming or phone gaming. It's not very common to see a kid of your age enjoy gaming in the way it is, going back to its roots. So if you could be so kind and let us know, tell us your story.
All right, so this is kind of hard to believe, but I started playing games. I'm not gonna say gaming, but I started playing games at around 2 or 3 years old. Like my parents,
Okay,
they bought me a Nintendo 64 when like Christmas of whenever I think 1998 was the year. But I really don't have
okay,
very good memories of it, obviously. And my
right,
cousin,
because of your
oh
age, probably.
yeah, my cousin, he was 10 at the time. He came to I guess my
Okay,
house or whatever, and he sees a Nintendo 64. He's like, "Is this for me?" He's like, "Well, why you why?" Like he was pretty mad that they bought a baby a Nintendo, and he's just like, this kid's not even gonna do shit with it. And he was kind of right because for the first few years I didn't really play much. Like I have vague memories, and one memory I do have is in Mario Kart specifically. There's this guy on a cloud. I believe his name's Lucky Two, and I remember him bothering the hell out of me whenever I played. But if
right.
you actually play the game, the purpose of that character is to let you know
Especially
you're
you
going
guys
the
were
wrong.
young.
The purpose of the character is to let you know that you're going the wrong way. And since those are the
Right.
the earliest memories of gaming I have, that tells me that I was going in reverse while I was playing the game. So I didn't really know how to play. But yeah, I grew up playing games like Mario Kart, Mario 64, and the Spider-Man game was the one that really it was the most complex game I played at the time, and that was one that
Okay.
actually really got me into it. I
Do,
started
do you
going to game
remember how old you were at the time or no?
Spider-Man. I was about like 4 or 5 on the
Four or
64.
five. Okay. Okay.
That
Okay.
was like with the red cartridge, and my first website, believe it or not, was GameSpot. I remember my cousin came over. He's like, "Oh, you know what cheat codes are?" And he showed me this website, told me how to look up cheat codes. And since I didn't have the memory card for that game, because that
Right.
game I believe required a memory card, I had to use cheat codes to get to the parts that I left off at. So yeah, Spider
Right.
Man was really that game. And then I went back and started, playing Mario or whatever, actually understanding what I had to do. And then the GameCube, I'd say GameCube and Sonic Adventure 2 is like that's when I realized, yeah, this is what I'm gonna be doing. Because I used to love playing with toys more than games, but Sonic Adventure 2 was that game, and that is why I've always had a soft spot for Sonic over Mario, even though I started with Mario first. Like there was
Okay.
just something about the speed and something about the whole character. It had voice acting, just the variety of stages. It was more modern.
Right. That's nice because a lot of kids just gravitate to Mario just because of the
Yeah,
pretty colors and actually the popularity, obviously, because he's more well known, he's more iconic. I think maybe now at this point Sonic is also iconic, but
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's pretty cool. Go ahead, continue.
But yeah, man, Sonic, I just liked it because it was more like edgy. You know what I mean? There's just more going on in
Okay,
Sonic, and Mario was just like
cool deal.
very traditional or whatever. But I'm not
Hey,
taking a
listen,
shot
I'm
at
not
Mario.
judging you.
I love it. I love Mario. Just Mario is like a
Mhm.
9, and I give Sonic a 10 on my favorite scale. So yeah, the GameCube was really
Nice,
that console.
nice.
I remember playing games like Billy Hatcher. I bought a
Billy
lot of
Hatcher,
shitty.
yeah,
I
yeah.
bought a lot of shitty games like The Incredibles, whatnot. Fucking Zelda. I actually had a hard time playing Zelda at first, but I actually got it down. That's actually one of those games where you actually use your head to solve the puzzles. So I was kind of confusing, but yeah, So I
Right.
went from game N64, then I went to GameCube, and then there's this trailer I saw on TV for a game called Kingdom Hearts that just never came out on GameCube. So I eventually
Okay.
had to get a PS2, and Kingdom
Okay.
Hearts was that game, and I definitely enjoyed the PS2,
Okay.
and that's what I played for a lot. And then I made the jump to the Wii. Went back to Nintendo. I actually thought it was gonna have better graphics than it did, but we all know it turned out to just be a GameCube with motion controls. We had Zelda, played that, and what made me jump on Xbox was Halo and Xbox Live. Just the whole party chat thing. And that's what made me an
Okay.
Xbox gamer.
And those were probably your teenage years already, right? You got to pick the
Yeah,
color to the weapon,
yeah, pretty much. It
right?
was like,
Oh,
yeah,
and that right, right. So that that's when the whole movement of playing online was starting to be big with
hmm
teenagers. Yes. Nice,
but
nice. So it's safe. Go ahead, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
but yeah, yeah. That time we all know the economy wasn't so hot when that came out, so I wasn't getting as many games. So a reason I know a lot
Okay.
about games today is because I watch people like AVGN and a couple other people, I guess, Classic Game Room. And but these were just
Okay.
shows.
Okay.
These were free shows that you could watch online, and you get to learn about games. And I also gravitated towards emulators because they were also free. You didn't have to spend much money,
Okay.
and you could just play so many games. So that's actually one reason why I know a little bit more than the average 20-year-old. But yeah, I
Okay.
played them
So
in
I
school
mean,
and shit, and I just
oh,
played them
did you?
on my
Oh, cool.
PSP.
Yeah,
I
like
played them in
probably like a
school.
recess or something.
Yeah, in computer class. So I've always been good with computers, so I finished my work in like 10 minutes, and then played those games. I started playing emulators more after they blocked Halo, because we had Halo on our computers, and we
Oh
play with a
wow,
bunch of students. We'd link up and shit, but they canceled
wow, that
that.
sounds like a lot of
So
fun.
yeah, yeah, we had to go back to like Marvel versus Capcom, and I played a lot of that on at
Wow,
school.
nice. Damn. So you kind of were in that medium where everything was starting to get really fresh and different. Like you had so many variations of games at that point coming out of nowhere, and we were like, whoa, what's this? So that's pretty awesome that that you were already mature enough and old enough to start gaining all that love for games at that point, which explains a lot, I guess. So let me ask you. So it's safe to say that was your mom and dad that introduced you to gaming, right?
Right,
Because they bought you your first console. God bless them for that. Because I
definitely.
hate when people say that parents are bad. Because I grew up in a time where when your parents bought you something like a video game console, uh, you know, they were bad parents because video games was garbage. It was something that was looked at as a piece of dog crap. You see what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
you know, somebody like my mother that bought me my consoles when I was younger got scrutinized by my aunts and my uncles. Oh, why would you buy him that? Get him a ball so he could go play some sports and do something with his life and this and that.
Wow,
You've probably heard
wow.
that before, but it was one of those situations. So let me ask you something. Anything in general other than your parents buying you this wonderful console called the Nintendo 64 at the time
Yeah.
that further influenced you, like a person in your life, or maybe your sibling or friend or a close friend that further influenced you to just adapt and want and to play games at a higher level with being your big hobby at the time, at this point, other than your parents?
Yeah. They work 9 to 5. I guess I think so. At least I think so. So they drop
Okay.
me off
Don't,
at
hey, listen, don't. I'm not judging you, Poppy. I'm not judging you. You say what you feel. You say what it
Well,
is.
yeah, yeah,
Huh?
yeah. So they went to work, full-time jobs, obviously. So they had to drop me off at babysitter's house. It was a friend that well, a friend of my mom's mom who passed away before I was born. But they go back to the
Mm-hmm.
DR or whatever. They've been friends for a while. So
Okay.
she used to take care of me, and she had a grandson who was my age, and he had a lot of games. He had his dad passed him down the PS1 and the Genesis, so I actually played a little bit of Genesis. I remember the Ren and Stimpy game on that shit. I remember playing Sonic 2. I even remember bringing a Nintendo 64 cartridge, and it didn't fit. That's when I realized that's how I realized the exclusives right there, trying to put Mario
Mm,
64 in a
right, right,
Genesis.
right. But you try to put a cartridge on the 64 on the Genesis, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
That's
that's what I did.
that's
But
funny.
yeah, he had a, I had my set of games, he had his set of games. He was better at
Hey,
some games, I was better at others, and that's where I
that's the
play
beauty of being
multiplayer
young.
first. Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of being young.
Yep.
Oh, cool, cool.
Because I never
Okay,
really had
so
multiplayer in my house. So,
right. Okay, so I guess you played gaming basically mainly alone and maybe with your cousin at the time.
my cousin was 10 years older, so he wasn't really. He was more into scaring me than actually playing with me. He was
Playing
one
with
of
it.
those guys.
Oh wow. So
Yeah, he
listen,
was. I wasn't
go
cool
ahead.
till I was like 9 or 10 with him.
Right, right. Well, you know how it is. He was a teenager and
Yeah,
you were just a young lad still, so you found
exactly.
that, oh, you're not cool enough for me to spend time with you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
exactly.
for that, but it happens. Happens to all of us. So listen, being that you already started yourself and your showcase of your experience with games came from games like like you just said, Marvel vs. Capcom, Super Mario World, or 64, and there was already game was already at another level. um I'm kind of curious, why, or for what reason is it, or what was the reason that made you, being that you had the benefits of beautiful, lush graphics and more advanced games, to get the curiosity of going back to retro gaming, not just with your emulators, but with
Mhm.
the knowledge of where they came from or who they were created and developed, to get what piqued like your interest to want to find that out with games that were so dated by the standard of a 64 Mario, or dated by the standard of a Marvel versus Capcom at the time that you were gaming at your peak or at your very best, because you were starting to be a
Yeah.
teen and things like that. What made you get that interest of wanting to go back? Because a lot of kids just play games, and I even have discussions sometimes with my boys, because I have boys that are your age, that say that I've asked them to go back and look at the roots of gaming, so they know where it started, where it came from. A lot of guys, they'll play and they think that for the very first time they'll play a game. Let's say, I don't know, something like, an example. Let's say something like Ori, right? And they're like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," because they never played other games like that before, and they don't have no idea that these games stemmed from way back when, in the when the platforming got at its height, which was with the Super Mario Brothers with the NES. What piqued your interest to want to go back and do your homework and find out about these things? I'm just curious, if you don't mind sharing with us.
I'd say part of it is AVGN. He added a comedy element to this whole thing, and he just kind of,
Hmm.
brought out a little bit of influence because he would give a history lesson, while making jokes about the game and shit. And I've always been kind of a person who likes to know where things come from. And
Okay.
I want to play the games where this concept started, or who like there's a I don't know if you probably listen to rap, right? Rap, they sample beats. Like they get the beats from old songs,
Right.
and it's cool. Like it's like, oh shit, this is where that came from. I always like finding out who did what first, and where it came from, just so I could appreciate the new shit.
How they build
And
it together.
yeah, and I always like giving stuff credit. Partly that.
Mm.
I honestly just think there was a little bit more variety back then. It was the Call of Duty era was pretty much a lot of the time where I was on the internet, fucking doing this shit instead
You
of
just let go and they come
playing
to
the
you.
same old stuff. Yeah, but doing that, I also missed out on a lot of games, obviously because of financial reasons. But I did look past last gen because now I'm looking back at last gen and I'm saying, all right, there was variety. I was just not looking.
Right. Or maybe just you weren't aware because you didn't have the money to get it anyway, even if you wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's understandable. I
Yep.
mean, you were young, you don't have a job. If maybe your parents weren't financially able to get you games all the time, then they listen. I can't sit here and judge you, because I went through that with my mother. I only got whatever I
Yeah.
could. And to be honest with you, a big part of my collection, because I've had almost every console known to existence, with the exception of the Neo Geo, because it was like $900 when it came out, or $800.
Right.
I don't have none of that stuff no more, because I had to get rid of it. Basically, I had to sell it, get rid of it, trade it in order to get the newer and fresher things. As I got older, it was more economically stable. Then I'm able to have two or three of the same thing and not having to get rid of it necessarily. So I empathize with your situation. I can't sit here and judge you, but that's great that you do realize that what you wanting to go back and find out things of the histories of gaming companies such as Sega or Nintendo or Namco. That's a very rare thing for somebody your age. You do realize that, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That likes
I too
gaming.
have sold. I
Because
too have
because
sold
most
shit
kids
too.
just play games and that's it. They don't really care. You do. That's what I'm. That's
I,
why I'm trying to tell you.
right. Another thing I'd actually like to say, so you actually sparked a thought in
Go
my
ahead.
mind. You sold a lot of your stuff.
Go right ahead.
I sold a lot of my stuff too. I sold my
Okay.
GameCube from Microsoft once. I lost a bunch of Game Boys. You know, but you miss some sort of you miss some stuff, and when you're digging back for it, just going back and reminiscing, you find some other stuff. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's just interesting. Overall, I
Right.
just
Right.
like the history of it. I just like the art of it. I think video gaming is art. There's concept artists, there's computer artists, there's musicians. Like, there's a lot that goes into the games.
Right.
Like
It's a
people
form. It's
just
an
look
art
at it
form.
as a simple,
Definitely an art form.
yeah,
Yes. Absolutely. You're
and
absolutely
people
right.
just look at it as something simple. And
Well,
I always looked at it as something greater.
artistic. Right. Well,
Hmm.
I'm glad you said that because, like I said to you when we first started speaking, when I was growing up, video games, listening to rock music, liking punk rock music, shaving your hair into a mohawk, things of that nature. To give you an example, that was looked at as you're crazy. Something was wrong with you. You like the
Yeah,
devil, or your parents didn't go to church, didn't teach you about God. You understand what I'm saying? Really
right.
foolish, outlandish ways of thinking. Because the world gave us so many different options and flavors for that same reason, so we could learn to appreciate them for what they are. But I'm so glad that you were able to find this medium and you're so happy in it, because it's safe to say that video game is a labor of not of yourself, of who you are, of your character, but something you love to do. Is a big hobby of yours, I'm assuming, right? It's safe to say, right?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you something based on, since we're talking about the basically how you started, where it came from. How were you able to find and discover the, I guess at the time that you were already gaming, it was becoming a dying breed, but the obscurity at that time of what the arcades were. Were you always familiar with the arcades, or did you know arcades as just being something like a Chuck E. Cheese, or did you know that arcades were pop cultural phenomenons at back then, especially in the gaming world? That it was a way of living if you were a gamer. Arcades were where we went, hanged out, made friends, fight, argue, console war. It was the place to be after school. Meet up with the girls, play games. You know what I'm saying? Trade cards, buy some hot dogs.
Yeah.
You guys didn't really, in this generation, didn't get to experience that as much because it was when arcades were basically dying. But how were you able to find that medium and discover it in your own way in your life, where you saw how special arcades were and how cool they were? Because I know me and you have talked many times. You're like, "Oh, dude, I saw this arcade. I saw this song. And I thought it was so cool." So, I mean, if you don't mind sharing, please tell us.
Um, I started out arcades like Dandy Bear, Chuck E. Cheese, and Dave and Buster's. They had the little ticket games, but they also had their own stuff. What always
Right.
made it stand out was like the accessories. Like I think it was called Wave Rider. He had this big
Okay.
ass life size
Wave
jet
Racer.
ski that would move
Yes,
while
yes. I
you.
believe it's Sega,
Yep,
right? Wave Rider,
yep,
or was it
yep.
Wave
And then
Racer?
I think it was the second one. Yeah, Rider, I believe. And then you had
Okay.
the skateboarding one. I believe it's called Top Skater,
Okay.
where you get on that, you actually move. I remember even playing a skiing one. Just like what made it stand out to me was that you weren't using a controller, and that you were actually doing these. You're basically doing the things that you're doing in the game in real life. The graphics were good, the screens were big, the sounds were loud.
Hmm.
It was just kind of the next level.
A really nice
Well,
experience.
graphically, not really too much,
Mhm.
because I was already on GameCube, and that was already on par basically. But the light guns, all that stuff, that just made it stand out. I never really had the whole social aspect because these were just for
Right, right.
birthdays and for yeah, for birthdays basically. That's when
In
you would go
gathering,
to them.
family gathering. Right, right, right.
Exactly. But actually now there's this place called Arcade Odyssey down here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 30 minutes away from my place, and
Cool.
this is basically what you were saying. It's got the glow in the dark. It's well, the black light inside is a dark
Yes,
blue,
with the neon colors.
and
Right, right,
it
right.
when you go in. Look, we went at 6, right? And we just chilled outside, and we came back in. I don't know what happened, but this shit was packed. people on all the machines. Like this is exactly what you're saying, basically. And it's cool because they got the old school arcades. Yet they also got PCs, and I think you could even go and hook up your own consoles there too. And I'm just really happy that there's
Nice.
a lot of people actually doing this. A lot of people going
So
to
they're
this.
going there and living the cultural life
Oh
of
man,
arcades, but
there's a lot of people,
at a new place.
and people my age. Not like, well, you do get some older people who just
Right.
miss or whatever, but most of them were like my age, like 20, 21.
So how do you
It was
like it? The
crazy.
experience is cool,
Oh,
right?
it's dope. It
It's dope,
actually
right?
I played a lot of Time Crisis there with my boy Chinch,
Nice.
and that just made me want to go out and buy the Time Crisis games. Like, right now,
Right.
right now, Time Crisis 3 with the light gun is shipping to my house. I bought a PS Move, believe it or not, to play House of the
Okay.
Dead 4 on the
No,
PS3.
you listened to me
I,
finally. Thank you.
man, yo, that game is amazing,
It's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. So real gun
Yeah, man.
shooters, man. I miss those.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Gunblade on the. Well, I modded that. Don't sue me. But that game,
No, it's okay.
it's just rare. But I did buy Overkill, and I bought
Nice.
2 and 3. That's shipping.
Nice.
I bought a bunch of other stuff.
High gun shooters. Right.
Yeah, since there's really nothing coming out until Final Fantasy, I'm gonna just spend my time on this shit, get good, so I could beat it in 1 quarter, hopefully, or 2 quarters. That's the
Nice.
place. That's what I'm training up to do.
Wow, that's cool though. So I'm glad that they have that. I didn't even know they had stuff like that that are actually, resurging themselves in different places. That's pretty cool. I think that's
Oh yeah,
if kids are like willing enough to go and just check it out, they'll be surprised how cool the arcade social, aspect of gaming was. It was awesome, man. It was really cool. We
I would
put our
like to be there
quarters
one
up.
day.
Oh, nice. I hope you do. I look forward to that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
It was
put
cool.
like 2 clips on Facebook, I think, but I'm gonna
Oh,
try to get
okay.
a good video on it, a tour.
Right. Yeah,
Hopefully this summer,
definitely
maybe
do. I
next
think a
summer.
lot of people will appreciate it. I think definitely. I know I would. That's cool. That's cool, man. That's
Oh, and
really cool.
also
So
I forgot
go ahead.
this. I forgot this one. Chuck E. Cheese and Dave and Buster's. That's more for when I was a kid, but when I was like a teenager, there's this arcade at this old mall. The arcade got taken down. The whole side of the mall got taken down.
Right.
But I went there, and I was huge into fighting games at one point. It was dead basically. But I would go there every now and then, to play, and it was pretty chilling. I just had to add that in there. So like,
No, that's okay. That's great.
I've always liked arcades. I've always appreciated it, and now I'm
Nice.
liking it even more since the social experiences. That
You're
wasn't there
getting to
before.
experience the real life social part of it. That our kids are extinct, unfortunately. And like I said, I don't know why people feel that even though we have such modern times now with games being so advanced and having such a great social aspect in gaming at this point, because that's the reason why gaming is so big right now, because it's so social. And with the internet, you don't have to go to nobody's home. You can connect right through a party chat or a game invite. um I still am a firm believer that even if we had still arcades here and there, I that they can have a space in the medium as well, because it's still different. It's live. You're personally talking with friends and making friends and meeting people that love the same hobby you do. It's kind of like when you go to the midnight release to buy games. Even though
Yeah,
that's also kind of on the verge of dying as well,
yeah, it is.
unfortunately, because people buy digitally, and things like that. But I kind of believe arcades could still live this day and age, if it's done right. Where people will give it a chance, and don't be so I guess dense about it. About the idea, which is cool because for a lot of you young kids, especially, you can hang out and get to know each other better and just have a good time. Older people like me, we already had our time to shine there. So it's a little different, but that's cool. That's definitely cool. So Jay, what have been all the consoles that you've been able to, been lucky enough to play and own, and through your lifespan so far, in gaming? Like, what have been the consoles that you've been able to acquire and your parents were able to get for you? You have been lucky enough to have in your hands to own, if you don't mind me asking.
Like The N64. That's the first one. Then
Hmm.
I got the GameCube, and then I'd
Nice.
say the Game Boy Advance. I owned about like two or three of them. Sister lost a couple of them. I had the PlayStation 2,
Hmm.
the DS. I had like two or three of those. I I noticed I had a lot of the same versions of the handhelds for some reason. I buy them over.
Well, I
Well,
mean, handheld is big with kids when they're younger. That's understandable.
yeah, and they were cheaper. So what else? What else? I had the Wii, and
Okay.
then my friend Julio, the one from the babysitter. We were still really close back then.
Okay.
We basically got a retro duo. I don't know if you ever heard of that retro duo. Have you heard of it?
It's one of those aftermarket game consoles that play like Genesis
Yeah,
And Sega Master.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those. Yeah, I've
So
definitely
we
seen
we
those.
trade that. We'd switch that basically. Oh, you own it for this week. I own it for this week.
Right, right, right. We used to do
Yeah,
that when
yeah,
we were
yeah.
younger.
We share games. Yeah, yeah, it's weird because we were doing this in like 2010, 2009, or
Right,
whatever.
right,
But
right.
yeah,
Well, you definitely have
um,
open mind. You were different. That's for
yeah,
sure.
man, we were. And it wasn't just me. He did this also. So there were a couple people who were doing this at the time. Very
Right,
few though. But then obviously the 360 got had the Halo 3 one. Actually, still got it. It works, but it just doesn't read discs. So I use the Slim right now. And then
right. Okay.
I have a Super Nintendo that doesn't work. I scammed some guy out of it, but I don't know. It works. I just don't have the cables for it. I just got it sitting there, so I just still count it because it's in my collection. Then I had the
Right.
PS3. Then I had the
Okay.
PS4, but with the PS4, I got rid of it because I just didn't enjoy the games that it had.
So you were
And then,
originally first on PlayStation 4, right?
yeah, I went from
Before.
360 to PS3,
Okay.
PS4. But to be
Okay.
honest, I wasn't really that happy on it because the social aspect wasn't there. My PlayStation friends didn't really play that much online games, and the games just
Hmm.
didn't really do it for me. It's an okay console. You could like it. It's just I'm more of an Xbox even. When I got the Xbox One, which is my next console, I felt at home.
Right.
I
But you
met you
figured that
cheap. I
out
went to work.
obviously with owning the consoles.
Yeah, exactly. Like I gave it a chance. It just wasn't for me. So
Okay.
yeah, the
Okay.
Xbox One, that's my main console right now. And then after that, I bought a. Oh, I forgot the PSP. I had the PSP.
Okay.
Then after the Xbox One, I got a 3DS. Then I bought an OG Xbox, which I never owned. Actually, my friend had it. Well, my friend's cousin, because his cousin lived like pretty much right next to us. So I played a lot of OG Xbox there. That's where I got into fighting games, actually. The OG Xbox. And
Oh, right, right, right. They had a lot
that's
of
where I
cool
first
ones
played
too.
Marvel. Yeah, I actually
Right.
have the original copy. I played Marvel Capcom on.
Cool.
We trained, but I rebought an Xbox just because I'm an Xbox YouTuber, an Xbox fan. So I just felt obligated to have it. I saw it for $30 at a convention. Right? Nothing to lose.
Right.
And
That's
then I
cool
got a
though.
Wii U. That's my latest console, the Wii U.
Now you just got to read you recently.
Yeah,
Really?
the Switch looks really good. It's just I'm not getting it day one.
Okay.
The Wii
Okay.
U's got
No,
a
the
good
Wii
10
is
or
a
so
really cool
exclusives that I
console. It
want to
just
play.
need. Right. Right. The Wii is a very cool console. It's just it needed more games. Like it doesn't have
Yeah,
enough games, but it has solid titles on there. But it's
it's got
definitely
enough right now,
right. 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 Right.
but
Let
back
me ask.
then, nah.
Okay, so I guess this will bring me segue to my next question. Would be so
Oh,
what
I got a
console?
Dreamcast. I forgot that. I forgot
Oh,
that.
you did.
My cousin
Awesome.
gave me a
How you?
Dreamcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Dreamcast is awesome. That's for me one of the greatest consoles of all time, and I can explain why in so
Oh,
many
one
ways.
good thing
But
about that was during this recession, the
mhm.
Dreamcast, I was able to burn discs and get free games also. So
Oh
I was
wow!
on
And
that
you
for a
said you
good
were good with
while.
computers, so you figured it out, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yep. So that's one reason the Dreamcast
You're
is really
such a
good because it had a
pirater,
bunch of games
Jay.
to
You're
play.
such a pirater.
Yeah, yeah. I buy
Oh,
my shit now, most of it,
oh wow. Well, though some of those
because
Dreamcasts,
I
to be
got the
fair,
money.
some of those Dreamcast games, brand new sealed, oof, they're expensive now because they're hard to come by. So
Um,
I guess my next question, like I said, that I would segue to would be what was the first console that you paid out of your pocket for the very first time? And
Xbox
what
One.
console? And what console? It's a two-part question, but you answer how you will. And what console out of the ones that you had so far, out of all the consoles you've had so far, would be you would say your most favorite and your least favorite?
Right. All right. So this is kind of cheating, but the Xbox One was my first console.
That
That
you purchased?
but I cheated because I paid the PS4 selling that covered half of the bill, so
Oh,
I had
so
to
in
pay the
trading?
rest. It was like $100. Yeah, I traded and then paid like that. The difference was like I
Okay.
think 100 maybe.
Still, all in all,
But
you must have felt proud of yourself.
yeah, exactly. Mhm. So yeah, the Xbox One. And do I have to put from 1 to 10 or just favorite and least favorite?
No, just on a personal level. You don't even have to number it. Just on a personal level, what is one of your
Um,
what is your favorite console or most favorite console, and what is your least favorite
damn,
from the
that's a
ones that
tough
you've
one.
had? From the ones that you've had.
Because out of playtime alone, I can't even measure that. But I've been really enjoying the Xbox, man.
Okay,
But favorite, I'd probably say the GameCube. I'd probably say the GameCube because
okay,
that's what shaped me as a gamer.
okay.
I had
Fair.
mad
That's
fun
fair
playing
enough.
the Mario Party games. That's what made me a Sonic fan. That's what made me a platformer fan. I had a
Luigi's
lot of fun
Mansion
with
was
the
cool too.
Smash,
I remember.
Luigi's Mansion,
Hmm.
Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Donkey
Yes,
Konga.
yes.
I had a lot of fun with the GameCube.
Yeah,
And my
I like
least
Nintendo's
favorite,
GameCube. That's one of my favorite Nintendo consoles of all time. Believe it or not.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
want to say it's not the best console, but it's my favorite.
Okay.
And my least favorite. Oh man, this is a. Can I say PS4?
Absolutely. You say what you feel. This is your show. You
I
say
feel
just
kind of
be
cheating
honest.
saying
That's it.
PS4.
No, but you could. I'm pretty sure you could say why.
Yeah, I
Because
like. I feel.
I'm assuming. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'm assuming that you're kind of adamant about saying PS4 because since you're an Xbox centric channel nowadays in your YouTube, you don't want people to think that you're just saying that because you're a fanboy of
Yeah,
Xbox. But that's okay because people don't know you on a personal level, so they can't judge you unless
right.
they give you a chance and hear you out. So if you say PS4, I'm pretty sure you could explain why.
I feel like I'm cheating because I only had it for like less than a year.
Okay,
But
okay.
like the reasons I said before, it's just the UI was okay. Like it didn't really do much for me on the social front. Sound quality wasn't too good in the party chat. The games just weren't really there for me. It was
Okay.
okay. I just didn't really get much enjoyment out of it.
Out of it,
That's why I chose
right.
PS4.
I mean,
No,
okay,
no
so
real
okay,
memories either. Like I've had
okay,
memories with every other console, just
okay,
memories.
but not with PlayStation. Okay, so
Yeah,
to put it in perspective, because so that you don't feel like you're cheating, PlayStation is out still at this point. Is there still anything on PlayStation that you're yearning for that you feel you might have missed?
yearning for not really, but some games I'd like to play are. I like to play Uncharted 4.
But
I'd
is it
like to play
okay? You would like to play Uncharted, but does that mean you would like to own the console just for Uncharted? That's what I'm saying. Because not
Nah,
really, most
nah.
gamers. Okay, my point is most gamers, no matter what age, you're not gonna just own a console just to play one game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I'm asking you so aggressively. Uncharted. Okay, fair play. Does it warrant enough for you to own the console just for Uncharted?
Definitely not.
Okay,
I need at
so
least
it's
5 good games. I already
okay.
played
So
one of them, which is
okay,
Infamous.
which one was it?
Infamous. That was a
Okay,
solid game.
so you chose two games so far. So I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say that you're not cheating. You're just being honest.
Right.
So
Right.
you shouldn't be judged by that, and that's good. I'm glad. That's cool. Yeah. All right. So okay. So is there any console that you ever wanted, ever from any of the consoles that ever existed, that you never got, you wish you got, or you're still interested in getting now, or you never had interest and gained interest through the years, learning knowledge about the console and what it offered?
If you asked me this a few months ago, I would have said the Xbox, but I finally got it. But a console I've always wanted to own, I'd say, is the Saturn, because I
The
never
Sega.
played a Saturn.
Sega
I,
Saturn
I
was awesome. I
never
can tell you
I
that,
never played a
man.
Saturn, man. And
Wow. And I
I
can
just
tell you
always like the
firsthand
look
from
of it.
experience, it was amazing. Continue. Go
I
ahead. I'm
always like
sorry.
the look of it. The controller always looked great. I always wanted to
Mhm.
play Knights. I finally got to play it through Xbox Live. You know, I was
Yes.
going back
Beautiful.
with that.
Beautiful.
And, you know, they had
You ever
like the
played
new ones,
the
one now, the House of the Dead. I
right?
want to play
Right.
House of the Dead one, but there's no console version outside of that one.
Well, the
So
only
I
one
don't
you
know what.
could, no, the only one that had it was actually the Saturn. They only made House of the Dead one for Saturn,
Yep,
unfortunately. And the game is expensive. If you try to search for it, we're talking
exactly.
about almost $300 on the market, the eBay market, which is ridiculous because no game should be worth that. But it's really,
Yeah,
really rare. It's really, really hard. They only made, I think, it was 1,000 copies of it or something like that, like
that came out
Panzer
at the end of the
Dragons.
life cycle, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like the Resident Evil director's cut, just like the Panzer Dragoon saga, which was the JRPG, that was fantastic. And that was like I think it was only limited to 5 or 3,000 units, and that's why it's really rare. But yeah, it's unfortunate because they should remake that. That's a game. You know how people say they shouldn't remake or remaster things. That's a game
Yeah,
that they should remaster and bring back, even if it's for the XBLA or the PSN Live, because it's a good game, it's classic, and it deserves to be revisited, if you will. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it started that House of the Dead zombie, type of genre that so big now with games that are out, like like what they're doing with the Until Dawn VR and stuff
yeah.
like that. So that's pretty cool. So Saturn, man, that's a great choice. I can tell you firsthand, and I don't mean to make you feel jealous whatsoever, that the Saturn was a fantastic console, fantastic, completely phenomenal. One of my favorite consoles of all times as well. But for me, it's really from my bias because I think I pretty much loved every Sega console that ever came out. I'm a big
Yeah.
Sega fan, as you know, and you know that already firsthand. But it was a good console. It had very good games that were different, unique, that you could only get on the Saturn, and that didn't get a lot of, uh, you know, uh, you know, didn't get a lot of praise and deserved it. Games like Mr. Bone and Estelle and Clockwork Knight and Three Dirty Dwarves, Amok and Guardian Heroes. As a matter of fact, you get Guardian Heroes now on
Right on the marketplace.
Xbox. Yeah, yeah. Now, as far as the House of the Dead two, I think, yeah, 2 and 3. If you own an Xbox 360 still, you can actually buy the OG Xbox version and you can play it on there. If you don't want to get the
Right.
Wii, because the Wii version doesn't have the high graphic fidelity of the Xbox OG original. But you can,
What? No way.
yeah,
That's
yeah, no,
crazy.
you can play it. You can play it on the 360 backwards
Oh
compatible
yeah,
via
to be
backwards
upscale,
compatible.
right?
If you're ever interested
Yeah.
in buying, it. And the game costs like $3, no lie. You can probably pick it up and find it on eBay. It's a lot of fun. I still own mine. If I had an extra copy, I would have sent it to you because it's a great game, and I know you would enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, Jay.
I'm looking
So
on eBay right now, and I see that the what you were saying, the Saturn. There's only like a few copies, and it's like over $100. But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Japanese version, like 20, 15 bucks, 10 or
Right,
20
right,
dollars.
right. Because they don't. It's not a sought after game in Japan. In Japan,
Yeah,
Saturn had a
and they
lot of
probably print it more.
overstock. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, my friend Forever, which Sega Forever. I remember him
right.
telling me it was funny because he said a funny story, and I don't mean to detract from your interview
Oh yeah, I
because
want
this
to
is
hear.
your time, but he had a funny story where he said, well, he bulked up because they had a big fire sale in Toys R Us in his local area in Hawaii, and they had like Panzer Dragon Ortha. They had I believe he told me it was the House of the Dead 1, 2, and 3, Mr. Bones, all those really rare and obscure games that are really sought after now for the Saturn. And he bought them literally or his brother-in-law, or his brother, I think it was, helped him buy it for him for like, I think it was like $3, $5, and he went and sold them on eBay and made like a killing. He said it because they were really a hot commodity at the time, which was funny
Yeah,
because I was like, "You fool! I wish I would have known them by then. I would have told them to pick me up extra. I would have had extra copies. I would have had my Saturn because it was,
yeah, right.
it got really dirt cheap. They were selling that thing for like $20 at one point on in your local Toys R Us when it was liquidating them. With the fire sale
Yeah,
because they were getting rid of them and they stopped production and stuff. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to get one, I would recommend you to get one. But it would be nice if maybe one day you can get either an emulator or maybe Microsoft can put the ability with Sega to put Saturn games on the Xbox Live. That'd be fantastic because
Here's
they
the
have
thing
put
with
some games.
Saturn, man. The emulators are really bad. Like they're
They're
just
really
hard to
hard.
work with.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's just
I think one
really
of the
like
chips that were in it was just decoded and cracked sometime this year. The guy was trying to work on it to learn how to
right.
crack security on it, and it
Yeah, I
was
think I
so
read
ahead of
about
his
that.
time that he just did it sometime this year. It took him all those years because it was so ahead of his time.
Hmm.
Remember, it was 7 different chipsets to program one game to work in unison together for the CPU to read the games, and they did that because of
Yeah,
piracy. They didn't want people pirating their games. That's
or
why they
or
did that.
worked on the PC front. PC
Right.
pirates could have powered that shit
Right. Well, I
for
think Saturn
years.
on the PC is probably the only emulator that's the worst, that works the worst on PC. It don't work right.
Xbox emulator don't even play games.
No,
Saturn
right.
OG.
Right.
That's the
Right.
crazy thing.
Well,
And I just don't think people have been trying to do Xbox. They just haven't
right,
really
right.
tried.
Right, right.
But like the Saturn emulator, I tried to play 3 Dirty Dwarves and it ran fine for like 2 minutes and then it just started going
Yes. And
300 speed.
uh,
Instead of
you're
slowing
not the
down,
first
it'd be
one.
going too
Yes.
fast. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
unplayable
You're not
fast.
the only person that said that. They had a lot of problems with
Crazy.
everybody that says they play Saturn emulators on the PC always say the same thing, that it's always they always have a difficult time because of the way that it was coded. Like I said, it was 7 different chipsets,
Yeah.
like 2 for sound, 2 for graphics, 1 for background. It was incredibly engineered for the time, ahead of his time, and that's why it was pricey. But it was basically designed to do sprites and in 3D and 2D, and then they actually had to end up putting in a lower end 3D chip to run once they found out that the
Yeah.
PlayStation console that was coming out was going to have a more modern 3D chipset to run polygon in 3D instead of sprites. So but it is what it is. Maybe one day you can pick one up for a good price, or at least I hope you do because I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. So Jay, okay, so
Yeah.
we can move it along and I don't bore you to death. Um, basically, so you said the Xbox was your preferred console at the moment, but your
Yep.
favorite was the GameCube, which is great, which is awesome. So as far as YouTube, how did you decide? I'm going to go on YouTube. I'm going to make a channel, knowing that first of all, knowing that you were younger. So by default, people are going to look at your channel and just look at it and be like, whoa, I'm not going to listen to this kid. He's only what, like 16 at the time, maybe when you started, or 17. I'm not going to take him seriously. But by default, and I know you had silly things in your channel before, but that's neither here or there. Just basically, what made you decide to go on a more serious level, talk about things that you were more familiar with? Like I know you're a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and it's very close to and dear to your heart, and and maybe even said, I want to start doing podcasts because I know now you're part of the podcast with Wolf and Kaleida and Ghost Rider, and shout out to them, which is the DirectX, which is wonderful for those who follow and appreciate them. Those guys over there, silly and fun, and I know you're part of their cast, and that's great. But before all that came to fruition, what made you decide? Listen, I'm going to try to do this. I think I'm going to go for it. And with that being said, as well, I know that lately, or I noticed lately, or anybody that follows you, really haven't really been putting content. And I know I've asked you the general question, and you were like, you haven't really had the desire. Maybe you can elaborate on that too after you explain how you decided to get on YouTube.
It's a long story on how I got into YouTube because I've made multiple attempts in multiple things. Some things I don't feel comfortable talking about. But
Okay.
um, as far as gaming goes, I initially tried to become a reviewer because this is before I found out about the whole console war thing. And
Right.
this is when I was in my phase where I was just learning everything, learning about the old school consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make reviews of games, from any generation. I did this. I recorded my TV and crap like
Just
that.
games you liked in
It was
general,
just
maybe.
yeah, yeah. Like I reviewed a Mario 64. I reviewed. I did a video of Halo Reach versus Black Ops. Stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. but
Hmm.
I never really went anywhere with it. I gave up. Well, actually, I reviewed music also. I did a video where I reviewed Beautiful Joe and the new
Great
Jay-Z
game.
album in the same video. I don't
Great
know.
game.
I
Hard as
reviewed
balls.
shoes. And yeah, man, it was weird. Like I don't know, it was just too sporadic. I didn't really have the time, and I was pretty young, so like I don't know. I didn't really have the drive. But I restarted a little bit when I found out about the whole console war thing. This was a few years after. This is before Zaire actually. This is late 360 with guys like General MLD,
Right.
Blackbuster Critic, PS 360.
Right.
A bunch of weird guys that are just not around.
Right. Right.
And I made a couple beef videos there. I would watch it, but again, I'd really be in and out with this stuff. It wasn't until the Xbox One came out where I got into this side of the community. Just like everybody else, it was like the guy was next gen 720. It was next gen and Fat Gamer. They were the only guys
Right.
who saw what I saw at E3. Like I'm watching E3 and I'm just like, all right, Sony. They had a they showed a policy, but they showed like 5 minutes worth of exclusive footage. Like they didn't show any demos for their exclusive. They just showed
Hmm.
trailers,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they just said we're not doing used games. And they try to pass off Final Fantasy as an exclusive. Try to pass off Kingdom Hearts as an exclusive. This game
Right.
as an exclusive. And I'm watching Microsoft, and I'm seeing demos of Titanfall. Well, I don't think Titanfall was a demo, but that was like a gameplay trailer.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
was watching demos of Dead Rising,
Hmm.
of Forza 5, of all these crazy games.
Rise.
We got
Hmm.
footage of Quantum
Max.
Break. We got a
Hmm.
demo of Rise. We got a bunch of crazy stuff at this EP, and they just showed a bunch of exclusives. And we got
Killer
detailed looks
Instinct.
of them.
Hmm.
Yeah, Killer Instinct. They brought back a series from the dead that no one thought they would.
Right.
And
Right.
sure, the console was policy wise wasn't all that, but I look at games first.
Right.
You know, I would be buying the Switch day one because some of the features it has, but since if it doesn't have the games, I'm not there.
You're not gonna feel
So
comfortable. Right. Hmm.
so I look at Microsoft One E3 and I don't only get 2 videos.
Hey, I think you and a lot of people, myself, and that are now in the YouTube scene are there because of that. Because I felt the same way when I saw both presentations. Even when they, to be honest with you, even when they, how can I say, even when they did the presentation of the Xbox One, right, the reveal, if you will, they were pretty clear and coat on what they were trying to do. They were trying to create a console that was going to be evolutionary, that was going to be different than anything you've played before, with the voice command, using the Connect, making Connect a more central part of the console. And I know people are like, oh, they try to shove down Connect down our throat, and I know why people would feel that way, but I think that was part of the whole package. They were just trying to make a console that felt more intuitive and innovative and more futuristic, if you will, and that's why they did that. Not thinking that they were going to get any real type of backlash, but they were very clear in saying that this was just a presentation and this was them trying to give you the idea of what they wanted to do and the direction they were trying to go, and that in E3 they were going to show all the games that were already lined up for it, even though they did show Quantum Break, Forza, and they spoke a little bit on some demos showing like the Killer Instinct, giving an idea, and people didn't really think it was real at the time. They didn't know if it was a real game. So me, unlike a lot of other people, but I feel maybe a lot of people now on YouTube that are doing this on this level now, or trying to anyway, felt the same way probably as you did. I felt Microsoft had a clearer vision. Maybe their messaging wasn't as coherent for people because it was a little bit more complex. But to be honest, I feel the media didn't help because they tried to bury them really quick and went against them really fast to hurt them or make them look bad. And people didn't really give them a genuine, fair shot and to explain themselves. So they were kind of dead on arrival and they had to change real quick. But then they changed it anyway. It was just the thought. The policies never even went through, and they listened to the people and the fans. And that's what I thought was even greater, because how many companies do you know that after you're vocal so much and so straightforward on Twitter and social media after the event, would actually listen and change completely what they already had set in stone for the last 3 years of what they were trying to do with their vision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the difference was that Sony was showing, oh, this is our hardware, this is our console, this is what the specs are. They showed knack, which didn't look impressive at all because it looked like an indie game. And then they showed a CG of what the intro of Killzone was supposed to be like, which looked cool, but they really didn't show how the game was going to play out, and that was about it. Right. And then E3 came and they didn't really show a lot of games. They just said, oh, look, Uncharted's coming out, like when they did the release and stuff like that. And that was it. But yes. So me, myself, like you, I felt the same way. I think a lot of people felt that way as well. So that's cool. That's pretty awesome. So, I mean, with that, I guess all that being said in the mouthful, so I mean, as of late, I noticed you haven't really done videos like I asked you before. Is there any reason why you haven't really been enthusiastic as of late to do videos? Can you share that with us?
I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't know, it's just sitting down and doing a video and trying to sound like professional or whatever, and just trying to be focused is just kind of boring to me. I like doing shit like this because there's chemistry involved. You have to bounce back and forward. You spark thoughts in my mind because every time I make a video, I'd always be like, "Fuck, I forgot to say this." Like,
right.
It this way.
Right. Especially if you're doing it from the hip.
Exactly. Like I don't write a script. I just I have a basic outline in my mind and I just go spit it out. Maybe 2 or 3 takes. That's really it.
Right.
And really, there's just nothing that really makes me want to get out and do my video. Like, I'm not gonna make a video about, oh, okay, AMD just confirmed this, or NVIDIA, or oh, this is what's on sale this week. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Boring. Like, I
basically, you want to warrant a video with good topics, right? With something that's worthy for a video. Okay, go ahead.
I want to talk about,
Right.
And like, it's just nothing's really going on. I'm enjoying Gears of War, but I don't really even feel like making a video about that. I just want to go and play it.
Right.
I'm more focused on the actual game side of it more than the YouTube stuff.
Which is understandable.
YouTube as a side project.
Right.
I've always been a casual YouTuber, hardcore gamer.
Right.
Okay. You have hardcore YouTubers out here, but they're not really
gaming as much, maybe. Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I could definitely respect what you're saying because, the thing is that first and foremost, let's be honest. There's so many good games that came out on the horizon that you really don't feel like, oh, I want to do a game, I want to do a video. When you want to go play Recore, you want to go play Forza, you want to go play Gears, or you want to go play Titanfall or Battlefield or Call of Duty. There's Final Fantasy is somewhere near in the horizon. Even a couple of cool indie games like Slain or stuff like that, or Dead Rising 4. So I can definitely agree with you. I know it gets kind of boring. Plus, the thing is, there's so many people doing videos, and they pick the same topic. You're like, do I really want to talk about that? So I can definitely understand where you're coming from, because I feel like that sometimes. That's why when I try to do videos in my channel now, I'm trying to expand it and do different things like this on a more personal level to get more YouTubers more personally in their gaming life history and why they love games so much, or opening game related toys like in pop culture, or toys about gaming or pop culture, or talk about movies that related to games, anything like that. That's why I'm trying to do different things for that same reason, just to keep the channel fresh, just to make me identify with me, and so people know, hey, that's Heban, that's his channel, and so they don't get bored. And I've been fortunate to have like a couple of followers. I'm not big at all, obviously, but but those who follow me, I know they respect me and appreciate what I do, because they tell me, like, yo, Heban, I love you, what you do, keep doing it, please don't stop, because you do it right, and you know it's from the heart, and your stuff, and we enjoy it. So even though it may not be a lot of people, maybe one day I'll get big, I don't know, but maybe until then, still till then, I just do it because I love doing it, not because of anything else. So I could understand where you're coming from, why it's getting harder. But I will tell you this, as my friend and as a YouTuber like you now as well, and a gamer, you know, when you do them, just do whatever you feel to do from your what you love. You know, if it's something you really want to talk about, do it. Even if you think people might not like it, just do it. So make it easier for yourself. You know, because that way it's fair to you. You're still putting content. People know you're still there. Because I think that YouTube without you, you know, wouldn't be the same because people already know who you are. They got to know who you know, what you do and what you bring. So for you know, from me to you, that would be my advice to you. You know, just don't get discouraged. You know, just make it fun your way. You know, J Long way. You know, and I know I don't have no right to tell you that. You know, you don't have to listen to me. You can stop YouTube tomorrow for all you know anybody cares because it's nobody's business but yours. But I tell you because I enjoy what you do. You know, that video you did with the host, you know, rundown and explaining and breaking down the whole Metal Gear and why you didn't agree with it being as well praised as it was, I thought was phenomenal because it was from a real fan. It was from somebody that really loved Metal Gear from day one. You know what I mean? It's like me breaking down anything about Ninja Gaiden or He-Man. I can break it down because it's from the heart and I know what I'm saying because I love it, you know, and I follow it and the lore real deeply. And, you know, I love that. That was great. One of your better videos. If not one of your best, in my opinion.
It is my most popular video.
Oh, nice. See? So, you know, that it's not just me talking shit then. So that's a good thing.
I put a lot of passion into both those videos, you know. That's a video that I actually wanted.
Well, you could tell that you were speaking from the heart. You could tell that it was something that really meant something to you, and that you were bothered by what bothered you, and you were happy with what you were happy with, and you were annoyed by what you were annoyed with. You know what I mean? You can tell. You can tell. You know, that's what's good about doing these things from the hip and from the heart. You know, not scripting and writing things down. Even though it's good for structure and balance and pacing, but if you're doing YouTube, I feel the best way to do it is doing it from the hip because it comes from the heart, from your head, from your thoughts, spontaneously, from that moment of what you're doing and what you're feeling, what you're thinking, or what you want to say. That's what I enjoy about it. I don't think just writing it down is going to make it feel as I don't want to say unique, as pure or as real.
Organic,
or it's going to come out. It's not going to feel as real, you know, for the viewer, you know, for whoever's watching, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, so that's cool. I'm glad that you do, you know, the way you do it. You know, I applaud you for that. So, what are you looking forward to the most? You know, I have a couple more questions. You know, before we get out of here. Because I don't want to bore you again. I know you want to go and play. Maybe you got homework to do. But what do you want to looking most forward to now? You know, with so many different announcements of hardware and new things might coming in the horizon. Maybe even games that you may know of that you're looking forward to. That have you most excited, and what do you want to do to bring those things and elements to your channel? To expand your YouTube channel in the J Long way, you know, in your direction, your way. From this point forward, what are you know, what are those things?
I'm excited to hopefully make that arcade video if I ever get down to doing that. I think that'd be a good video to spread the word.
The which video? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The tour of the arcade.
Nice. Yeah. You did say that earlier. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be nice. Coming from somebody like you, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, like I just like to make more videos like that, less of this whole like console news or whatever, because you know there's a lot of people who do that and they already do well enough to make me irrelevant basically. Like why do I need to make this video when this guy does it?
Right. You know they're gonna follow them first because they're either more well known or bigger on the scene. Right. So you got to do it. You got to do it within your element. Find something that that defines you, right?
I'm thinking about I'm hyped for Final Fantasy. That's gonna be a great game. But I also want to do a Metal Gear Survive video.
A lot of people hate me on that game too.
Look, people hate me for liking the game. Look, I like Metal Gear and I like zombies. Like Metal Gear 5. As much as I talk shit about the game, I still think it has great gameplay. And this is going to be a pretty much Left 4 Dead style game with the gameplay of Part 5. Left 4 Dead's a great game, Metal Gear is a great game. Like put them together, like it's a great game, and it's a budget title. It's basically a standalone DLC.
Right. Plus,
And
it's different. It's in the Metal Gear universe,
yeah,
but it's trying to do like their own version of maybe a Left 4 Dead or something like that. You know.
yeah. It's a side story.
Hmm.
It's like a wormhole, alternate dimension. It looks
It's
fun, and
it's not meant to
I
be
wanna
taken
piss off the
serious. Right. Right.
exactly. And I just want to fucking make a. I honestly like fucking with the Metal Gear fans, to be honest. Making the troll videos, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that.
Dude, I seen
But
people
yeah, just
crying on some videos when they announced that game. Believe it or not, fans of Metal Gear. That was funny. I thought that was funny.
don't even get me started on those people. Those people are not gamers. Well,
Oh
they're
my
gamers.
god.
They're just gaming for the wrong reasons. They like the
Right.
game for the
They're
wrong
so
reasons.
obsessed with the ideas. Right. Right. Right.
They like the guy, not the game. Like,
Right.
if Kojima did that, it would have been the best thing ever. Trust me.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Right.
But yeah, just hopefully maybe more reviews, more like I might even do a collection video.
Right. Right.
Um,
You should do a video of
more stuff like that.
your video game consoles too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely. I might do a tour or whatever,
That'd be really cool.
collection video.
Yeah, that'd be definitely cool. And like let me ask you something. What was it? What are like? Okay, what are your favorite type of YouTubers, or since this is what you do, that are out there, like the ones that just don't take it too serious, they like to be funny, like Next Gen, or like somebody like Zobi, or you like a little bit of what everybody brings into the table.
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people hate Crap, and sometimes I get mad at him, but I like Crap. He's like the best standard YouTuber. He does the standard formula. He does podcasts talking about the stuff,
Hmm.
but he does it well. He gets right to the point. He's entertaining. Like, and to
Right,
be honest, I agree with Crap a lot of the time.
right,
Believe it or
right,
not, a lot of people even in our community are like, yeah, I don't agree with everything he says. I
right,
actually agree with a lot of what he says. I
right,
also obviously you got to give the props to Next Gen. That motherfucker is a character. He's hysterical. Obviously you, because you're just so knowledgeable and you just ramble on. And I love the rambling. Like Blazing Phoenix, he's another one because he just goes off on these tangents, and
right, right,
it's coming from the heart. And you both know so much, and you got to get it off your chest. And I love that. Um, Obviously the people in the DirectX show, they all bring their own element. I believe Wolf also retired from making videos. He's more him and I are basically in the same feeling. I love Ghost Rider's outside videos where he just
right, right.
goes about fucking around at GameStop. I like his own New York attitude. Kaleidoscope, he makes great videos. He does gameplay videos also.
Right.
He goes in. This guy's not really in our community, but I've been watching his videos a lot. Metal Jesus. I might want
Oh
to
yeah,
start making videos like him.
Little Rock Jesus is fun. He's a cool dude.
I really
He got a
like
lot
him.
of fun
What I
to
like
watch.
about
Yeah.
him is, yeah, he does a lot of like collection videos because he knows a lot of them. He
Mm-hmm.
does like genre videos, like he gets like let's say 5 games of one genre or one console, and just tells you about it. And you get to learn a lot from him, and not only him, he gets in a lot of other people, and you
Right.
get a lot of knowledge from that channel.
Well, he's doing a
Um,
lot of
I,
cool rarity things, like rare videos, like
I
with
love that
things
part of his
like
channel.
he did the rare Xbox, the orange one recently, the OG. Then
Yeah,
he did the one where he found the only existing HDDR attachment for the game for the Nintendo 64. He does some cool stuff
right.
that's interesting, and I hope I can
Right.
get that type of element too. And I know what you're
I
saying, that
think
you want to bring that type of
I
element
actually
to your
got
channel.
one video. I actually got a video idea. My friend recommended it. So a friend of mine, Wheelman, shout out to him. He has a Mountain Dew Xbox. I think I might make a video about that. OG
Nice.
Xbox. But now, since you brought that up, I could actually make a video that Metal Jesus will make, basically.
Right, right, and
Um,
he can probably bring it over and do it with you. That'd be even better.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
That
thinking
would be
about
even
doing.
better. Oh man, that would be a treat. I definitely say do it, do it,
Yeah.
do it. No, definitely,
What's
definitely.
all right? This guy, this channel that I just binge watched. It's these 3 guys. It's called Hard for Games.
Okay.
It's a weird ass title.
Right,
The
right.
humor is just funny, and they do a lot of old school stuff. Like they
It's an
did the
indirect, but it's funny. It's funny. It's a cool
yeah,
tagline.
yes, like they do unreleased games. They'd actually break down footage of unreleased games and news of unreleased games, and try to put together and find, and with a game shark, find beta elements from these games, and and tell you what could have been or whatever. They do a lot of rare videos like that. They just got great chemistry. I just think they're really funny guys.
Right,
Hard
right.
for games. That's one
Oh,
channel I
that's cool.
really
I'm gonna
like.
check them out. I don't think I've seen that channel, but I'll definitely check it
Yeah.
out. I've been watching a lot of what's this guy? There's a new guy. Oh yeah, the Electric Playground. You know
Electric Playground.
the Electric Playground that used to exist before. They have their own YouTube channel now with that guy. I forget his name. He's been around for years. Uh, but I'm starting to watch their channel. I'm having fun watching their channel. He always brings news about everything. What's going on in the world and gaming. Like movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Speaking of movies, I mean, I have a question for you. How do you feel about the excitement knowing that they're going to make a new Gears of War real life movie?
I'm excited because I love action movies and I just love this game. I love Gears of War. Period. It's a great game.
Right,
And just with the effects we have now, the budgets we have now, the quality of cameras and tech and computers and CG that we have now, I think they could actually do it. Like the gore that imagine just seeing the Lancer in the big screen
right.
and someone getting curb stomped. So I'm expecting some Saber Private Ryan shit with the gore, with the fantasy gore that Gears have, like a Nasher. I wonder if they're gonna actually do the gore like the game, like how when you shoot someone in the Nasher they just break into pieces, or will they do it like realistic? I like to know. That's one thing I'm expecting to see.
Do anybody
And
in your mind you have like that could play that you would like to see play Marcus maybe?
um, I'm thinking Batista, but he ain't that good of an actor. So either him or maybe Dominic Purcell
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
what's his face, John Travolta. They're going with old man Marcus.
But he's the only thing with John Travolta is that he's a little bit too old right now. But I don't know. Maybe I mean he might
Yeah,
be able to pull it off. But those are good picks. Those are
yeah.
pretty cool. Okay, so I have like two more questions. I guess my uh, question before last is there any game in particular that you're actually want them to make? What game would you like to see really bad that you want them to bring back for this generation coming out, whether it's Scorpio, whether it's Pro, basically for next gen, that either they haven't made of something that you like or that was an existing franchise that you like to see come back and that you really would like to see unfold in
Um,
next gen? What is there a game in particular? Is there a couple of games
all right, I'm gonna have to look at myself. Games that I like to see brought back.
or something
Um,
that you want to see be made?
One thing I want to see that be made, but it was already made technically. But I want to see the original version of Mother 3, which is the sequel to Earthbound. They're making it for Nintendo 64, but they canceled that, and then the new one
Oh,
that they're making
okay.
on the Game Boy.
Yes.
They're
That was
making
like
on the Game Boy.
a real niche game
Yeah,
that never came out, right? That people wanted.
yeah, because it was made on that Nintendo 64 CD thing, the rare one, and
Okay,
uh, and that thing just didn't sell, so they just canned the game altogether.
right. And then
Sad
it
thing
never
about
saw
it.
the day of light, huh?
Exactly. Never did.
Or the light of day, rather. Sorry.
Um, what is it? It made it was Sonic Extreme. It was supposed to be the first 3D Sonic game, but
Right.
they canceled it because of I don't know. Maybe I think it was the Saturn. The Saturn just wasn't up to snuff with the fucking 3D basically.
Right. Well,
That's
they
one.
made Sonic R in replacement of it. I think it was more of a budgeting thing because they weren't making money. They lost a lot of money with the Saturn. Saturn almost
Yeah.
bankrupt Sega. Saturn, the 3D 32X, the Sega CD, that almost bankrupt Sega. I mean, and we can go have a 3 hour, 4 hour podcast on that topic alone to get into detail, but that's another thing. Okay, so I have to answer this
Oh wait,
question
wait,
because
wait, wait, wait.
go ahead.
All right, I want a new Outrun game.
Oh, do you?
Outrun 2.
Me too.
Outrun 2 is a blast, man. That's like one of my favorite races. And I'd also
The-
like a new DOA. That's my favorite fighter. I like to see that come back. It's been a minute. Well,
Good
they
pick.
got a volleyball one, but
That's a
I want
good
to see
pick.
the.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of jerked us with this DOA alive because it's just a port from the last gen, right?
Yep. Or even Virtual Fighter, man. We haven't seen
Yeah,
that
new
in
virtual
at
fight.
least
Muat Part 6, that'd be
10 years,
awesome.
bro.
Yeah, that's a good. Those are good picks. Those are awesome. And some of them probably some that I would pick myself, to be honest with you. Okay, so I gotta ask you my last question. This is a question I ask everybody that I've interviewed so far, and that's only because I like to dig into your gaming knowledge. Okay, what is one game, okay, that you have played, and by your laugh, I think you know what I'm gonna ask you. But what is one game that you might have played that is extremely rare or extremely obscure that many people either didn't talk about, didn't like, never even tried it, that you remember playing that you thought was awesome, and that really wasn't as popular and well known, if you even have one. But I'm assuming you might have one because most gamers do. But what would be the game?
All right, I got a story with this game. So I
Uh
go to Toys R Us. So I go to Toys R Us a lot, right? They had the demo units, which my game stops in my area, Walmart's.
oh.
They
Mm-hmm.
usually have them turned off, or just not even there. So
Mm-hmm.
I went to the GameCube one because that was my preferred console, obviously. And there was this skateboard game called Go-Go Hyperdrive, which was cell shaded. It was
Okay.
like no, it was animated by Spumco. If you don't know who they are, they're the animators for Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
And it was a fusion between anime and Ren and Stimpy.
Okay.
So it kind of had that Sonic style, but Ren and Stimpy style for some reason. It was crude.
Oh,
It
that's
had
cool.
potty humor, but I was obsessed with the Tony Hawk games also. This came out at the perfect time because this game was pretty much your basic skater, but you were cartoon characters, and they had a bunch of environmental, not really hazards because they encourage you to get on. You do your trick, and then you press the action button or whatever it was called,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to time it onto these items, and they'd give you extra points and combos. So like you go to a stick of dynamite, you get on it, it launches you to the other side of the map, and then
Mm-hmm.
you land inside a fucking elephant's mouth, and then he shits you out, and your character's covered in shit. And then you get eaten by a fucking crocodile. You're flattened by an anvil. And
Damn.
it
It was
was just
just it was
ridiculous.
just weird and shot out.
Yeah, it played just like Tony Hawk, but it had this weird animated element to it that
Mm-hmm.
added to it. Like you go
Is it
inside
an
of
arcade game? It's an arcade game.
it was arcadey, but it was a GameCube skateboard game. It was just like Tony Hawk,
Where did you play it? In the
but it was
arcades?
no on the GameCube. It was a GameCube
Oh,
game
on the
made by
GameCube. It was,
Atlas.
and it okay. I think you told me about this a while back, but I
Called
forgot about it. It's called Go Go
It's
what?
called Go Go Hyperdrive on the
Go
GameCube.
Go Hyperdrive. Nice. So you had a lot of fun.
Oh man, it was everything I loved. It had
So you have to rate
the
it. What
art
would you give
style.
it? What from 1 to 10? What would you give it?
Ah man, it's a hard game to rate.
Nobody
For its
nobody's.
time, as a kid, I'd give it a 10. I,
Right, right,
man,
right. That's
it
awesome
just did everything. Right?
because it did everything
Even at
for you.
multiplayer, man. The Tony Hawk games were tens in my opinion. And it was a better version of Tony Hawk in my head.
Yeah, I remember they did a Tony Hawk game with Disney characters, and it was really, really awesome. It was the same
Yep, I
engine,
remember
but
that.
it was a Disney game, and they had it for Saturn, I think, or Dreamcast, I think it was. But it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun. I forgot the title of it. I think my kids know, but
yeah,
that's
no,
a, that's a, that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna go check that out because I said I would before, but I didn't even remember. But being that I put you in the spot, I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna mention a game because if I like to give the licking, I got to take the kicking too, so to speak. I have a game that I remember that I actually got to play a pirated version of it because it came out in Europe, so I had to download it because it never made the states. That came out for Dreamcast. It was a platformer that had a very, very gothic feel and look of Tim Burton, but the main character looked like Chucky. the
Oh, I know
actual
what you're talking about.
doll, and it's called Evil Twin.
Yep.
And it was a really cool game. I own it still to this day. I don't know if it works because if the disc scratch, it might not read. But somebody burned it for me. My godson, God bless him wherever he be, and I got the chance to play, and it was really cool. I wish it would have made it to the States, but if you look at videos from YouTube or old magazines, you'll find that they had like a big. It was supposed to be a really big game that was supposed to come out, but never did. It never made it out. It was canceled and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So but yeah, that's freaking awesome, Jay.
I remember reading about that game on Game Informer.
Yes, and Game Pro. Right? You ever remember Game Pro magazine?
I remember it vaguely, but I was more of a Game Informer guy because
Right.
GameStop subscription.
Did you ever used to read Electronic Gaming Monthly?
I read them in the supermarkets. When Mom would buy
Okay.
groceries, I'd wait in the supermarket aisle.
Right.
Read those magazines. Write down the cheat codes on my hand. Read the pages.
Right. Well, I mean, if you ever get a chance to maybe download it or get a burn copy of it, since you have the Dreamcast, you can still play it. So it's not like you can't maybe find it. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, I guess I'm gonna come to a conclusion with the pod chat. It's been really great. I hope I didn't bore you. Like I said, I think you're awesome. I really side with you to continue doing what you're doing because you make a lot of people proud, and you influence them in a good way to give them that stimulate feel that they need to continue doing what they're doing, even though they might have been doing it for so long and for a lot of years. By example, because you're young and you give a lot of life to this, believe it or not. And I mean that from the heart. I'm glad that you gave me the time and gave me the honor to interview you on my channel. I know you didn't have to. I know you're busy. You got college, you got work, and it means a lot to me that you took the time for me. So for that, I thank you, and I will always be grateful for you for that. Thank you for extending your hand out, being the first person to trying to show me and expose me and the community of gaming. That'll always be something I'll never forget, and I'll always thank you for that because if it wasn't for you, I probably still wouldn't have a lot of subscribers at all of what I may have, even if it's not much, but of the ones that I do have. And that meant a lot to me. I hope you had fun. I hope you felt like I was fair to you, that I exposed you in a good way for people to know you in a different way and why you're a gamer, why you like gaming, why you have your channel. I hope you feel justified. And if you didn't, forgive me. I'm sorry. You can pull my ears later on. I give you all the permission to do so. I hope we can join up again, maybe a couple months later, or maybe a year later from now, and do it again and see how you feel, or how far you've come. And if you want to plug anything of what you want to, what you may be doing soon, or what you do on a general basis, weekly. As a YouTuber and as a gamer, please do so at the time. Now, once you finish, plugging yourself, I'm going to give my final thoughts, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Is that good? And thanks again for being here. You mean a lot to me. I love you very much. You're a great person. You're a great kid, and never look back. Always be proud of yourself because you're in the right direction. You remind me in a lot of ways of my kids and my boys, and that's why I'm so fond of you, and I mean that from the heart. So, go ahead, shout yourself out.
Oh, yeah, man. Thanks for the words, bro. You can check out on YouTube, JLon908, 908. Twitter, same name. You could probably catch me on the Facebook groups. I'm on Bang Bang. I'm on the game here. Just whenever I decide to actually make a video, whenever something sparks my mind, I'll be there. And, I'll be on YouTube. I'll be around, just not as much as before. So stick around. Watch out, because I might come, any day now. That didn't sound right, but I might make some good shit.
Hey, listen.
I can see it happen.
Do it from at your pace, because I think once you make your delivery, people are going to be there to follow you, because it's going to be all worth it. Because it comes from your heart. I think your viewers that follow you since the beginning already know that. I mean, I know I do. So, yeah, guys, give him that love, show him that love, go subscribe to his channel, and go check out his content. It's very good. He's very well thought out and very well spoken. J Long may be young, but he's a real gamer and he's a really good person and he loves gaming. He's a purist, if you will, even if he's like an old man in a young man's body, so to speak, if I had to describe it with words. So Jay, again, look, I'm going to give my final thoughts about you and today. So to my viewers, to the channel, to the community, once again, thank you for joining me. What can I say? Gaming has come a long way. It still comes a long way on a daily basis, like I said. And I've verbalized myself on other episodes and other podcasts before. And the wonderful thing about this is that we connect. We connect even if we think we have no way to connect with the simplicity of just, pressing a button to accept a chat or pressing a button to invite someone to play a game, something that was looked at as, as a waste of time for many years, or something that was looked at for many years as a joke or the wrong direction for any good, well-being, growing teenage or youth, if you will. And this gentleman here is proof positive, along with many others like my children and my boys rather, that prove that you can still be successful and do this as a hobby. And this is more than just a hobby; it's an art form, and it's a labor of love. And if you like it and enjoy it, and it's something that you feel right doing, that you should not be ashamed in any way, shape, or form to say, "Hey, listen, I'm a gamer and I love doing what I do because it's what I love." Just like many people feel maybe embarrassed to say where they work or what foods they like or what type of people they like. We should not be judged. The controller holds no prejudice, like I've said many times, and that's the way it should be. So for all you gamers out there, learn by example as set by this young gentleman and many future ones that are fight from the very beginning to make gaming a more serious genre and medium to become part of pop culture was worth the fight or worth the sacrifices and the getting the fingers pointed by our teachers or our family members or people around us saying that we were weirdos or that we were going to be nobodies because you have these wonderful young people growing up and doing the same thing we grew up doing, and they're taking it to the next level because they have a lot more accessibility and access to a wonderful pyramid of knowledge with social media and things like Facebook and movies or whatever the genre may be, that gives them the exposure they need, and they can do what we've done at a better and higher level than us. So we need to give them that support so they can grow and they can be just as well versed and well knowledge at us as we are, as people look at us, so they can earn the respect that they have, that they're fighting to get and starting to learn to expose themselves in and learn to bring to the next generation of kids that get into video gaming, so they don't be looked at as weirdos and as low lives or waste of time, because it's not right. We shouldn't be judged by what we love to do, because gaming is a love and a passion of ours, and we should not be embarrassed to speak of. So Jay, thanks again for joining me. I have mad love for you, puppy. Just keep doing what you're doing. I hope you don't just get discouraged. Keep doing what you do. And thank you so much again for joining me. For the audience and those who view it afterwards, please, comment, like, share, and subscribe if you like. Remember, you don't have to, but if you do, you become part of my family. And, if you leave a comment, you want something different, or you want me to do anybody else or in particular, please feel free to, shoot me a comment or DM me and let me know what you think. Jay, thanks again. Thanks a million. Have a good night. And, you're the best, man. I'm proud to be your friend, man.
Yeah, man. It was a great time, bro. I really enjoyed the show. I want to do another podcast with you anytime soon.
I appreciate it, Jay. Thanks, man. We'll talk soon, okay? God bless. Love you guys.
Later.